Ah, it's such a relief to be home and not have to think about work for over a week. I've taken a week of annual leave. Dear, Mia said, looking up from her book. I'd appreciate a bit more attention than that. Maybe I should take some days off work too, and we could go on a short trip. Jacob shook his head. We're not going on a short trip. I'm going on a long one. What are you talking about? She asked, confused. Jacob's tone shifted. I'm not just taking a week off from my job, Mia. I'm taking a week off from our marriage. What? Mia asked, startled. Relax, Jacob said calmly. You're free to do whatever you want with whomever you want while I'm gone. And I promise I won't hold it against you. Just like you won't hold anything against me for what I do. Excuse me, she snapped. When we first got married, Jacob began, I didn't realize how much marriage would feel like a full-time job. A wife has to be dependable, perform as expected, and, most importantly, keep her boss me happy. Gradually, our home life started feeling like a structured office day. One day it hit me. Workplaces give annual leave so employees can recharge. Why can't marriage have the same thing? Mia glared at him, silent. Let's face it, he continued. Our marriage has become predictable, monotonous, even dull. Especially in bed. It's been so long since I felt that spark of passion. I've realized we need a break from each other to reignite those feelings. Once you think about it, you'll agree. You'll even appreciate what I'm doing. You've lost your mind, Jacob, Mia spat. I never agreed to this when we got married. And I'm certainly not agreeing to it now. Jacob shrugged, a smug grin on his face. Mia, I don't need your permission. Don't worry. I'm not leaving you permanently. I just think, after years of being a devoted, hard-working husband, I deserve a rest. So do you. I didn't tell you before now so you wouldn't try to stop me. The tickets and hotel fees are already paid for, non-refundable, by the way. And you hate wasting money. Mia's voice sharpened. Where exactly are you going? Sunny Jamaica, Jacob said with a breezy smile. We? Who's we? My girlfriend and I, he replied bluntly. You have a girlfriend? Mia shouted, her face flushed. Who is she? Jacob waved her off. You don't need to know that. You might do something silly, like try to tell her husband. Look, find yourself a nice guy to spend time with while I'm gone. Just make sure he's gone before I get back. I'm not leaving for good. I still value our marriage, Mia. This is just a vacation for both of us. When the week's over, you'll see. We'll be happy to see each other, and things will get back to normal. You're insane, Mia hissed. I forbid you to go. That's my final word. Jacob chuckled. Mia, don't make this harder than it needs to be. I knew you'd resist, which is why I already transferred most of our money into an account under my name only. Your funds will last about a week. And don't think about canceling our credit cards. They're in my name now too. So relax, accept it, and start adjusting to the idea. Who knows? You might even like it. Mia stood there, speechless, as Jacob grabbed his keys. Oh, he added, before I go, how about we spend some time together? Just one final special night, so you don't forget what you'll have to look forward to when I'm back. Jacob left shortly after, and Mia was left fuming. She sat in silence, trying to process what had just happened. When Jacob returned a week later, the house was eerily quiet. Hello, darling. I'm home, he called out, expecting a response. But there was none. He looked around, puzzled. Where is she? He muttered, noticing that the house seemed untouched. Heading to the garage, he saw that Mia's car was still there. He checked the living room and kitchen but found nothing out of place. Finally, he went upstairs. His stomach sank when he saw that most of Mia's things were gone. She's throwing a tantrum, Jacob muttered. I bet she's trying to scare me into apologizing. She'll come around once she realizes how good this will be for our marriage. Despite his confidence, doubt began creeping in as the hours stretched on. Mia didn't return that night or the next day. Meanwhile, Mia was struggling with her own predicament. On her way to work, she tried calling Jacob's phone, only to be met with a robotic voice. Asterisk, the number you have dialed is no longer in service. Asterisk. She slammed her phone down on the passenger seat. So, that's how he wants to play it? She fumed. Fine. Two can play this game. Determined to track him down, Mia called Jacob's office. "Hello, Mr. Sherman's office," his secretary answered politely. "Hi, Sarah," Mia said tightly. "This is Jacob's wife. Can you put him on the line, please?" "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Sherman," Sarah replied, her tone frosty. "He's not in. Can you tell me when he'll be back?" Mia pressed. "I'm afraid I can't give out that information," Sarah said curtly. Mia's irritation boiled over. "You've never had a problem telling me before. Since when is silence a policy?" Sarah's tone turned sharp. "Since Mr. Sherman specifically instructed me to give you this if you called." Before Mia could respond, Sarah hung up. "Unbelievable," Mia seethed. "That bastard." As the days passed, Mia's situation only worsened. Her credit card was declined at a restaurant, and the ATM refused to dispense money. Frustrated, she went to her bank to find out what was going on. The clerk informed her that her accounts had been drained, leaving only a minimum balance. "How is that possible?" Mia demanded. "This is my account." According to the records, Mia herself had authorized the transfers. The clerk even produced documents with her signature and a copy of her driver's license. "That's not me," Mia protested, pointing at the woman's picture on the fake ID. The clerk was unmoved. "You'll need to contact the police if you believe there's been fraud," they said flatly. Furious, Mia stormed out and went straight to the authorities. She reported Jacob for identity theft, fraud, and forgery. The police took her information but admitted they didn't have strong leads. Mia tried contacting Jacob's friends and family, hoping someone knew where he was, but each call ended with the same response. "I have no idea where he is, and I wouldn't tell you even if I did." Her frustration mounted. Without Jacob's financial support, she was quickly running out of money. She couldn't afford to keep their house on her own and began considering selling it. However, since the house was jointly owned, she couldn't make a move without Jacob's consent. Even filing for divorce wasn't an option. Legally, Jacob hadn't been gone long enough to qualify as abandonment. Desperate, Mia declared bankruptcy to escape the mounting bills. One day, as she was preparing to move out, a letter arrived for her. The handwriting was unmistakably Jacob's. "Mia," it began. **, you probably thought I'd have no choice but to wait for you to come home and act like nothing happened. I think you've forgotten what I do for a living. As a defense attorney, I've represented plenty of counterfeiters over the years. Some of them were quite talented, including a certain woman whose skills extended to forgery. She was desperate. Unable to find honest work as an ex-convict, she was on the verge of turning to prostitution. I offered her a way out: create a fake ID and forge your signature. In return, I promised to take her with me and give her a new life. It only took her a day to pull off the job. She created a perfect driver's license with her photo and your information, then used it to access your accounts. The bank never questioned it, and no one there knew what you looked like, so it didn't matter that she didn't resemble you. My original plan was to take a year-long sabbatical from our marriage, but after seeing how you treated me, I decided I no longer wanted to play along. To borrow your words, in the workplace of marriage, I'm afraid you're fired. **. The letter ended abruptly. Mia stared at the paper, her hands trembling. Jacob's betrayal had left her with nothing, not even the satisfaction of knowing where he'd gone. For the first time, she realized just how completely her husband had outmaneuvered her. Let me know if you'd like further refinement or if you'd like me to explore another section.